Hi, this is Joachim Kans, the singer of Hammerfall, and you're watching CMS TV.
I think the elephant in the room here, obviously, the big news of the week.
What?
James Hetfield is in rehab.
Yeah. Poor folks in New Zealand and Australia. They get fucked again.
Well, here's a question I have, and you and I know the ins and outs of the business.
Uh-huh.
This is what I've got to question, and this is just hypothetical. This is no proof. This is not hearing anything. This is just me talking.
Okay.
Could this possibly be an excuse to get out of a bad contract?
Oh. You mean like they signed a less than lucrative deal to go to play in New Zealand?
Maybe.
I mean, they get paid a lot of money.
Well, again, I don't know. I'm just throwing that out there.
I mean, I would hope that that's not the case, and I can't imagine. I mean, they were just named this week as like the highest grossing band of the last like year or something.
Yeah, but again, that's here.
Yeah.
And whatever. Again, I'm not saying that that's the case. I'm just asking the question.
Yeah, could it? I guess it could, but that's an awful big, Hetfield really has to take a hit to his credibility. Is that going to be worth a bad contract? The guy's got fucking $250 million in the bank.
The thing is that, Australia and New Zealand, that's not exactly just, next door.
No, I get it. I mean, it's an uncomfortable flight both ways, but that's an awful big hit on his credit for.
Again, I don't know that. I'm just throwing it out there. Just seeing what you were thinking.
I cannot. If I had to guess, I would say no on that one. But,
all right.
I think he literally, I hate to say this, but since we're saying things that we don't want to say, he's been sounding great lately.
Okay.
Which might have something to do with the fact that he was back off the wagon.
He was on the fuel that gives him fire.
Well, dude, I don't want to be that guy that says that people stink once they get sober, but that's a fact with the Metallica crew. When James got sober, those shows were not as fun anymore. Hetfield was such a monster when he was drunk.
I know.
I mean, he was, but a monster in a great way. I mean, those were I'll take those shows in the 90s, the late 80s and 90s when he was fucked up every show. I will take those shows over anything that he's done since he got clean.
It was the heavy fuel, man.
Well, but I mean, he was so aggressive, and I have to assume that that's why he goes to rehab, because he's probably a mean fucking drunk.
Yeah.
But I mean, I remember them shows vividly, and I remember being at those shows in Hetfield. If every ass wasn't out of the seats chanting away, he would stop a fucking show and he'd be like, "You up there, bitch that's sitting down, get your fucking ass." He was like that. And he was definitely aggressive, and he demanded the crowd be part of the show. And once he got clean, he stopped doing that and was like, "We're just one big family. Hello, friends. It's great to see the Metallica family back together again here in Cleveland, Ohio." It's like, ooh, dude, have a beer. And again, Metallica's my probably my favorite band. Them are their A or B. So I know I've met James. I don't know James, but I've met James several times, and I obviously don't want him to be suffering or in a bad mental place or addicted to whatever. But I ain't gonna lie and say that. Well, I'm not gonna lie and say that I don't miss drunken James on stage. If he could find a way to be drunken James on stage and sober James off stage, I'd be all for that.
Metallica have announced that the frontman James Hetfield, who has struggled with addiction for years, has entered rehab, forcing them to cancel their upcoming tour dates in Australia and New Zealand. The statement was accompanied by details how fans of those locals can claim refunds. See, refunds.
Yeah, they're not coming. They're not coming back.
Well, see what I'm saying?
Well, maybe.
Instead of saying hold on to your ticket, we're just rescheduling.
Yeah, but you could easily just say that he fucking sprained his ankle or his neck or something.
But isn't it more? But the thing is, well, yeah, he'll be better in 6 weeks.
Yeah, but they don't have time.
Yeah, well, I'm just throwing it out there. I'm not saying there's anything to it. I'm just throwing it out there.
I'm not saying that it's above anybody to fake something to get out of a shitbag tour that they don't want to play. But oh my goodness, I mean, saying that you're fucking drunk and you can't fucking control your liquor and you're back on the sauce.
But the thing is, even in the statement there, who has struggled with addiction issues for years. So if the promoter said, hey, James is struggling with his addiction demons again, it would go, oh yeah, he's known for that.
Yeah, I guess.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm
not saying, I'm just asking. I'm just getting your opinion. That's all.
I'm sticking with I doubt that.
All right. I'm just asking. In a message on their website titled "A Note from Lars, Kurt, and Rob," Metallica said, "We're truly sorry to inform our fans and friends that we must," now they say postpone, as if they're just going to reschedule, but yet they're offering the refunds. So I don't know. For our upcoming tour in Australia and New Zealand, most of you probably know our brother James has been struggling with addiction on and off for many years. See, they reiterated that again.
Right.
He has now unfortunately had to re-enter a treatment program to work on his recovery again. Again,
yeah.
We fully intend to make our way to your part of the world as soon as health and schedules permit. See, we'll let you know as soon as we can.
Right.
Once again, we are devastated that we have inconvenienced so many of you, especially our most loyal fans who travel great distances to experience our shows. We appreciate your understanding and support for James, and as always, thank you for being a part of the Metallica family.
Yeah, pal, Metallica.
Refund information was posted at Live Nation Australia and Live Nation New Zealand websites with separate information for those who purchased enhanced packages. The tour dates have been set to take place from October 17th to November 2nd, with a total of 8 shows canceled.
Yeah.
8 shows.
8 shows. That's a big hit on his reputation for 8 fucking shows.
I don't know.
I just can't. I can't fathom it. Okay. I cannot fathom that they would go to that extreme to cancel 8 shows.
Well, again, I don't know.
I mean, they could, just like I said before, they could say that he fucking sprained his neck, canceled the 8 shows, promised to come back, and then never come back. You know, they could do that too and do refunds just like they're doing now. I mean, they're issuing refunds and saying they will come back. So.
Yeah, but what are they going to say? We're not going to come back? They're going to say, well, we'll let you know as soon as we can figure it out.
Well, they could say the same thing with a neck.
True, but
just say, oh, you know, we really don't want James flying that far because it causes his neck problems.
Okay, well, again, I'm just throwing that out there.
Are you believing that, or are you just?
I don't know. I don't know the answer. I'm not even saying that that's what they did or why or anything. I'm just saying. Well, I'm always skeptical because I know of personally know of numerous situations where press releases were put out for the reason why shows or tours or whatever were canceled that really were not exactly the truth.
Yeah, those are shows that bring 400 people, not
again, I'm just telling you.
500,000 in a week. You know, I mean, Metallica shows in Australia have got to do huge numbers, don't they?
And I don't know.
I mean, they're not playing clubs. They're definitely going to be playing whatever stadium. And I guess that doesn't matter if he's, if he doesn't want to play it. I guess that wouldn't matter, but ooh, that just seems like a hell of a bad hit to take.
Mm.
That's why I posted that horrific David Lee Roth video today, and I just wrote on there, just to avoid a problem, this is the best DLR's ever sounded. He's great.
Yeah, I did see that too, and it was just like, wow.
Ooh, boy. Not gonna. You know who's talking about running down there to see that too?
Oh.
You're not gonna believe this, and I even called him on it. Our friend Omam. He
really?
said,
Wait, he was being serious about it?
Being dead serious, that he wants to plan a trip with him and his friend Kyle and Hannon and whatnot, and go to Vegas to see the DLR Vegas act. I was like, dude, you've got to be kidding me.
Because they think it would be good, or because they just want to see a train wreck in person?
No, other way, because Dave can do no wrong.
Really? I see. I find that hard to believe, especially as cynical and critical as Omam can be.
That's why I was blown away. I was like, dude, you can't be serious about this. He's like, oh yeah, David, you can't say nothing bad about him.
Really?
Best front man ever. I'm like, yeah, 40 years ago. He ain't the best front man anymore. He's not even the best old front man anymore. I'd say Mick Jagger still kicks his ass.
Yeah, there is some truth to that.
I would say Roger Daltrey still kicks his ass. Don't you think?
Yeah, well, Roger Daltrey still sounds great.
And he's what, 113?
He's definitely in his early 70s.
Yeah. I mean, when he's talking about his Geritol, I mean, it's like, Jesus Christ, dude. When are you going to stop?
Well, as long as there's money to be made, I guess, and people still show up in arena-size levels, why stop?
Yeah, well, and that's true. I mean, they just sold out 18,000 seats here, so for the I guess, because it wasn't like the whole Who. It was just 2/4 or whatever.
It's the when I sit back and think about the history of remembering, even as a young person, because concerts used to be a big deal. I mean, if
Sure.
somebody was coming to town, especially watching local television in Cleveland, especially with two big venues, the Coliseum and Blossom Music Center.
Sure.
If somebody like the Rolling Stones were coming, or the Who was coming, or somebody like that, there would literally be television commercials.
Oh, of course, yeah.
For it. They're, coming to the Coliseum, September the 5th, the return of the Who, or something like that, or the Rolling Stones are rolling into Cleveland, something.
Mm-hmm.
So, the big voice guy and, clips of the concert, and it used to be a big deal, and that was the conversation among all of our friends. It's just like, are you going to go see Led Zeppelin? Zeppelin's coming, man.
And remember, it would be so big, especially if it was a stadium show, that the lead story of the local news would be that show too.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're out here at the stadium where Pink Floyd is loaded in. They're getting ready to bring a sold out show to you here at the Cleveland Stadium. This is more fans than have attended the last 30 Cleveland Indians games combined.
Yeah. Yeah, it used to make the local news and everything, and they would actually have like a real brief interview with maybe with Mick Jagger, or maybe with Roger Waters, or maybe with Jimmy Page or something, to kind of hype it all up.
Sure. Now they still covered in the news saying, "Hey, avoid Cleveland at all costs. The traffic's going to be a bitch." That's what they do now.
Yeah. Well, but I'm getting back to the point here.
Yeah.
When I think of the Who, and this just goes to show you, where my mindset is. All I think about is I believe it was like a Thursday afternoon or a Friday afternoon watching late afternoon television and watching the news coverage from Cincinnati about the stampede.
When they all got murdered.
Yeah, I think did 4 people die in that or something?
Yeah.
Got crushed to death.
Yeah, they got crushed or trampled or something. Because didn't they just open the gates and let everybody run?
Yeah, it was all general admission seating, so it was just like it was a free for all. So as soon as the gates opened, people were rushing.
Right. They just ran in there and just murdered each other so they could be in the front row, man.
Yeah, exactly. So, people got pushed and shoved and fell, and people just trampled right all over them.
People try to push us down.
Exactly. So, I remember watching that, the breaking news, in to talk about the tragedy in Cincinnati.
Death at the Who concert.
And I distinctly remember the Rolling Stones. I believe they were on the Start Me Up tour or something like that. This was like 1978 or 1980, somewhere around there.
Right.
And I remember Mick Jagger talking to one of the local news people there about the longevity of the Rolling Stones. And if you think about it, we're talking say 78, the Stones had been around 15 years at that point.
Right.
Think about that, 15 years.
And now it's been 60 years or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. And, I distinctly remember Mick Jagger talking about the longevity of the Rolling Stones. And, I remember specifically him making a reference to saying, well, I'm getting older now. He says, I can't imagine doing this much longer. I can't imagine singing the words to Satisfaction past 42 years old.
Right.
And now he's twice that.
Yeah. Now he's 80 years old. He's still singing.
Exactly. So it's funny how things just don't always turn out the way you think they're going to turn out. And, So just to think about this, I'm 55. The Who and the Stones both started the year that I was born.
Right.
And they're still touring.
Yeah. Dude, I mean, when you start doing age numbers, it really gets depressing. Do you realize that Pantera has been broken up longer than they were big?
Yeah. Yeah.
They were big from 90 to 2004. So it's been 15 years later. So they've been defunct longer than they were a big band.
Right.
That's just insane. And when you start doing that math and you start thinking about it, if you dated the start of the Beatles back to, backwards from today, the Beatles would have launched in 2009.
Right.
That doesn't even seem like a long time ago, does it?
Not at all.
But for people that were around then, they probably thought the Beatles had a long career.
It lasted, like 8 years?
10 years. 60, like late 69 to what, 80? Other way.
It was 62, right? 62?
Yeah, you're right. Now I'm thinking about it. It's like 61, 62 to 70.
Yeah, so it was like 8 years.
That's it. Wow. They sure wrote a shitload of hits, though.
Yeah, they did.
Oh, my goodness.
Well, again, people remember the first guy to make the step, everybody knows who the first man on the moon was, as the old saying goes.
Do you think if, let's just say it was the Rolling Stones, if the Rolling Stones would have beaten the Beatles to America, do you think the Beatles still would have had 50 hits, or do you think they would have had like 20 hits?
Boy, that's a good question. The thing that makes the Beatles unique is that they were, obviously the talent was there between, Lennon and McCartney. I mean, not that Harrison and Ringo were hacks, but the talent, the songwriting talent obviously was the chemistry.
Sure.
And, it's hard to say. It's hard to say if the record label would have put as much, A&R work behind the Beatles, say if the Rolling Stones were the darlings.
Yeah. It is. It's just a weird thought that, you know, the Rolling Stones could have been the Beatles if they would have just gotten their shit together like a year earlier or something.
Yeah, because the Stones were already suffering internal issues with the drugs and the demise of their guitarist.
Yeah.
And things like that. They were having lineup issues and things, so that always kind of slowed them down at the beginning, even though they were obviously a very they were coming up through the ranks and had hits in the 60s, but you know,
Sure.
their big heyday was mostly the 70s.
Right.
This guy raised $1 million for a hospital through beer money, and then his old racist tweets surfaced.
So what? Now they don't want his money?
Well, let's find out.
All right.
Carson King raised more than $1 million for an Iowa children's hospital born out of a request for beer money on national TV. But old racist tweets ended his relationship with the beer company that promised to match his fundraising. Anheuser-Busch announced that it would no longer associate with King after he admitted posting 2 offensive tweets in 2012 when he was 16 years old in high school.
How dare he, bastard?
This everybody digging into your past just to try to find something on you is just.
And here's the thing. So whoever the cocksucking fuck is that turned him into the beer company, and yeah, I said that, and I hope you can't you use that as my statement that gets me banned from helping you too, you fucksticks. The cocksucking fuckface that turned him into the beer company basically said, we would rather let kids die than take money from somebody that said something we don't agree with.
Correct.
I hope they die. I literally, those people that did that, I seriously hope they die. I hope tonight they have an aneurysm and blood comes gushing out their fucking noses right in front of their kids and they drop dead. And the last memory that they have of their fucking mommy and daddy is bleeding on the fucking carpet while brain matter comes spewing out their fucking noses. What a bunch of cunts. Wow. Unreal.
Carson King had multiple social media posts that do not align with our values as a brand or as a company, and we will no longer have any association with him, the company said in a statement to CNN.
Who was the company? What beer company?
This is Anheuser-Busch.
Okay.
The 24-year-old shot to fame when he appeared on ESPN's College Game Day program earlier this month, holding a sign that said, Busch Light supply needs replenished, with his Venmo username.
Okay.
Donations poured in, and after buying 1 case of Busch Light, he said he decided to spend the rest of the money to send the rest of the money to the University of Iowa Stead Family Children's Hospital. Anheuser-Busch and Venmo promised to match whatever King could raise.
Okay.
In a now deleted tweet, Busch Beer promised to send King, dubbed the Iowa legend, a year's supply of beer cans with his face and name on them.
Okay.
Anheuser-Busch spokesperson Matt Cohan told CNN on Wednesday that the company would still donate more than $350,000 to the hospital as promised, but it had rescinded its beer offer. Instead, it will add the value of the year's supply to its donation.
Yeah, well, so you're a lying fucking sack of shit. So you're changing the obligation.
Yeah.
That's not the obligation you made, you fucking lying pricks.
The episode is being held up as the latest example of the cancel culture, which celebrities are publicly shunned and boycotted after allegations of problematic behavior come to light.
It's not problematic behavior. It's fucking blips on a fucking screen, you oversensitive cunts. Jesus Christ. Who cares? Does this happen to say what his tweets were?
Well, I don't know yet. I didn't go through this yet.
Oh, okay. I'm curious what they were.
King said a Des Moines Register reporter pointed out the tweets while interviewing King for a profile, which prompted him to hold a press conference Tuesday before the paper's story was published. One of the tweets compared black mothers to gorillas, and another joked about black people who were killed in the Holocaust, the Des Moines Register reported. Once he pointed it out and I went back and looked at it, I was really upset with myself, he told reporters at the conference. King apologized to the press in the press conference before the paper published the profile online. The comments were made as jokes between friends, King said in a statement on Twitter. He called the post an attempt at humor that was offensive and hurtful.
Stop apologizing! You know what his apology should have been? His apology should have been, I apologize for nothing that I did as a 16-year-old kid.
Yeah.
If something that I did as a child is so fucking bad that you don't want to save kids' lives, then fuck you don't. No apology necessary. None at all. He shouldn't have apologized at all. His tweets from 12 years ago, he's had 7 years for somebody to be offended and fucking come up to him and say, that's offensive. They didn't. They only did when he did something good. So you know what? Go fuck yourself.
Yep.
I would not apologize for shit.
Well, the thing is even when you do apologize for something, you still get the ramifications anyway.
Yeah. So why do it?
So why bother?
Yeah. Am I wrong in thinking his apology should have been nothing? I don't apologize for things I did as a kid. Nothing. Yeah. Here's what I did right now. I raised $1 million, which will pay for an awful lot of cancer health care or whatever it is that he's raising money for. So if that's not good enough, then fuck you. I'll take this money, buy myself some hookers and a bunch of blow. How about that? How about if I do that with the money instead? I'll just take the money and buy whores and pussy and fucking drugs. Would that be better because I had 2 tweets 7 years ago? Shut the fuck up. What a fucking asshole this $35 an article reporter is for fucking digging through this guy's history looking for a gotcha moment. Fuck that guy. What an asshole. And what a pussy this guy is for apologizing. Idiots. All the way around. Now you got me all fucking mad again. God damn it.
Obviously, I've made mistakes in my past. Everyone has, he said at the conference. And I really hope people see that this point is, let's see, where is it? At this point in my life, I'm grown, I'm caring, I'm generous. I hope that that's what people focus on.
Yeah. Doesn't matter. Dude, everybody's done something they're not fucking proud of in their past. Everybody.
Yep.
I'm getting ready to release a whole book of it. A whole entire book. So I guess I'm not allowed to donate money anymore?
Nope.
Because I did dirty shit?
Yep.
When I was young? Fuck them. Fuck them. You know what? I'm going to put this goddamn book out and I won't apologize for anything, no matter who's fucking offended. You're offended? Don't fucking patronize me. Don't buy a website from me. Don't go to Pinball PA. Don't buy any more of my books. Just go fuck yourself. Stay out of my fucking face with your whining. That should be everybody's answer to this cancel culture. Fuck you. Stay out of my fucking face. God, why are people such pussies? Can it feel good to be such a pussy? That's what I want to know. Does that feel good? When you do something that pussified, does that feel good? Do you walk out of fucking being that goddamn reporter and saying, I just took that guy down, and now the kids aren't going to get $1 million. They're going to get shit. God damn it, I feel good today.
Yep.
I saved the world from this fucking mean guy.
I put another racist in his place.
I solved that problem with him. And I don't care if the kids do die. At least I stopped mean words from a teenager. Shut up. How do you feel good for that? That is so fucking lame. So fucking lame.
And before I go, shout out to the Classic Metal Show. I did an interview on there yesterday. Dudes are intelligent, awesome, prepared, funny. Please check them out. Classic Metal Show. I am Jericho Green. Man, I'm out.